And hello everybody, welcome to the Mango Grove. My name is Krisha and this is today's Bitcoin and Chainlink analysis video. Now, before we get into, the meat of the analysis, I just want to start off this video by acknowledging a certain sort of question or frustration that people have been PMing me about on Telegram. And this common frustration stems around people not being able to catch my calls. So yesterday I proposed a descending triangle on Link, which actually did break down, and immediately I got like 3 PMs. So I got one for Link, and also when this Head and Shoulders top played out, I got a lot for this one as well. Oh, it played out too fast. I didn't get a chance to get into my trade. Do you think it'll come back up to give us that retest so I can short? Guys, I don't put out these analysis videos to give you guys calls. Okay, none of this that I cover in any of my videos is meant to sort of guide you in taking certain calls. This is not what these daily analysis videos are for. It is more for you to understand that there can be a process to TA. And I am personally giving you my process on how I dissect the charts. However, please note that all that I do here, okay, my process stems from me actually going through 40 hours of the Mango Seed program that Sean put together. I've learned everything I know from him. Okay, but it took, there was a time investment that was involved. And not just that, guys, 40 hours is not just as plain as the time put in, but you're essentially learning different concepts, right? For those of you in the Mango Seed program, you guys know this. You guys know how the program is structured. They're all like different topics, but at the end, when you're dissecting any chart, you literally have to take everything you've learned and you bring it together. So you have various sort of mental models just sort of working together. And this is one reason, I haven't really mentioned this to anyone, but this is one reason why I go over certain modules, okay, from the program every month very diligently. Yes, I may look like I'm very fluid on the charts, but I put in time every month, okay, to learn this over and over again. Because sometimes while you think you know certain things, the second and the third time you go over it again, okay, you're able to grab onto that mental model and apply it even better. All right, and this is another reason why I want to implore each and every one of the Mango Seed members to go over certain modules again, things that you are not comfortable with, things that you are not confident with. Go over it again and again and again until that mental model has been enforced. Because believe me, guys, it will take your TA to the next level. Okay, you will be able to see things that you hadn't seen before just by strengthening certain mental models. And that was one reason, guys, why I was able to catch this short before this Head and Shoulders top even played out. Okay, it was because of the mental models that I was able to establish just by rewatching the content in the Mango Seed program. Now, all this to say, guys, this requires time investment. This is not something you just get right off the bat, and I don't do any of this to give you guys calls. Now, let's get into the meat of the analysis. What's the one thing that we have been talking about on the Bitcoin chart? Guys, it's the monthly time frame. Yes, we close a monthly tomorrow, less than 24 hours, actually. So it is rather exciting. Okay, my exciting didn't sound too, exciting, but I'm just gonna go ahead and switch off my weekly levels. I'm just gonna keep my monthly levels on. All the levels that I currently have on my chart are all my monthly levels. And as things stand right now, now this was something that we have been going over for the past 4 or 5 days now. I've been looking at how price reacts relative to that 11K region. Right? On my monthly time frame, I'm actually looking at that 11K as support that I wanted to see price maintain. But as things stand right now, Bitcoin is looking weak relative to that 11K support. Okay, what I was looking for was price to actually maintain it the way it did here. So July of 2020, we managed to take it out to the upside. We closed over 11K. August of 2020, we found support on 11K, and as things stand right now in September, it is beginning to look weak right now. If we close under 11K, we may very well start using it as resistance. Now, if we close under 11K, here's what I will be looking for. Now, in my video from yesterday, my analysis video from yesterday, I proposed 3 cases to you guys for Bitcoin: a bullish case, a bearish case, and a consolidation case. Now, I believe that if we close under 11K on tomorrow's monthly close, Bitcoin may very well go into consolidation mode. Okay, now this is what I'm seeing. I'm noticing that 11K is being held as resistance on that weekly time frame. We've been living under 11K for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks now. Of course, this week is not done, but as things stand right now, it is looking weaker even on those lower time frames. Now, if we close under 11K tomorrow, what I'll be looking for is for price to maintain 11K resistance and use that 21 EMA as support. Now, as soon as we start losing the Tenkin to the downside, okay, at this point, I'll sort of pan on over to the daily time frame. What I like doing in terms of my process of really understanding how price is reacting relative to a level, I'll sort of just plot a line segment there. I'll boil down to the daily time frame, one of the lower time frames, and I will observe as to how price is reacting off that level. If we lose it as support, I will be anticipating a further push to the downside, at which point I will pan back on over to my weekly time frame and I will look for price to have continuation all the way down to the 21. But now for those of you who have been watching my analysis videos, what was the one thing that I've been harping on about for like days on end now? It's for that weekly to maintain its higher low structure, right? That is the bullish structure that we have been in ever since the coronavirus dump. Now, as long as we maintain this wick low here as Bitcoin's low on the weekly, I do believe that the weekly bullish structure will be maintained. Okay, now this wick low is sitting at around 9,825. As soon as we start taking this out to the downside, I will be looking for continuation to the downside with the first point of support coming in at 9,584, going all the way down to the bottom of the weekly cloud at 8,500. Okay, but once again, it's going to be an if this, then that. There has to be a plan behind everything. And now I just gave you a little bit of how I dissect these charts during the intra-week timeframes. Okay, while this Tenkin is a weekly level, I usually look for how price reacts off of it during those intra-week timeframes, like the daily and the 2-day timeframes. If we start losing it as support, I will be anticipating a further push to the downside, at which point the next region is going to come in at 10,167, also lining up with that weekly 21 EMA. And once again, guys, we have been holding the weekly 21 EMA as support for 5 months now. Okay, I'll be looking for that to hold if this has to maintain a bullish structure leading up to next month, which also lines up with election time. So this is a plausible case for Bitcoin leading into next month. Okay, this is of course contingent on how we close tomorrow relative to 11K. If the bulls manage to take over leading into tomorrow's candle close, okay, and we actually close over 11K, I will be looking for immediate continuation to the upside, coming up to test this 12K region. If we start taking out this 12K region, I will be looking for continuation all the way up to 14K. However, my personal opinion on this, okay, I do think that price is leaning more on the bearish side on those lower time frames, and it's sort of tipping me off on, that Bitcoin may very well close under 11K resistance. Okay, at which point, like I said, I'll be looking for consolidation. Now, I'm going to show you what's tipping me off on price actually closing under 11K. So if we just pan on over to our 4-hour time frame, okay, I'm going to adjust my scale there. And now someone brought this up to my attention just today and asked me if this could possibly be a head and shoulder top pattern. Okay, and I actually think that it has the psychology for it. Okay, now this was a very drawn out distribution if this has to play out. I think the volume nodes are there. Okay, we have the correct volume profile. Remember what we're looking for in head and shoulder top patterns. We're looking for that descending volume profile. This was a rather drawn out distribution. Okay, if this actually pans out. But if we put in the neckline for this head and shoulders top pattern, this is what we get. Okay, now this is the neckline. Now, if Bitcoin actually breaks to the downside, let's take the measured move. If we break this to the downside, this will take Bitcoin all the way down to 10,300. I'm going to go ahead and mark that with another sort of line segment, and that's that. But now let's go ahead and put on our cloud levels to see if there's any support, any other resistance that we need to keep an eye out on. I'm going to put on my 10 SMA, and I'm also going to put on my 200. And here it is. And this is another thing that's sort of tipping me off on the more bearish play for Bitcoin leading up to the monthly close, okay? And it's this. It's the fact that price is currently living over like a huge cluster of resistance, okay? We have Tenkin resistance, we have 200 simple moving average resistance, we have 21 EMA resistance, and we have 10 SMA resistance, okay? There's way too much there. And if you just sort of zoom into this right here, let's go ahead and just zoom into this right here. You'll notice that we have a bearish crossover setup. We have the 21 EMA that just crossed over the 10 SMA, okay? That is a bearish crossover. If this has to persist, we are likely going to see Bitcoin being held down by that 21 and the 10 SMA. Okay, this could very well lead to the break of this overall head and shoulders top. However, please note that patterns only become patterns after the break. Use your pattern plays in conjunction with a few other TA concepts, whether it be horizontals, whether you're using the Ichimoku Cloud or you're using EMAs, but use it with something else to give you that added booster, that added confidence booster to your trade. And more importantly, guys, have an invalidation point, please. Okay, you do not want to be holding on to losing trades at the end. All right, now this is all I have for you for Bitcoin. Let's quickly get on to Chainlink and see what Link BTC is up to. I'm currently on Link BTC on that 4-hour time frame. Now, yesterday I did give you this trade setup. A lot of people were talking about this one, wherein there was this descending triangle play that I had pointed out to you guys, right? So price was looking rather weak here. I was actually bullish. When price was around this range right here, I was actually looking for a symmetrical triangle playing up to the upside, meeting the measured move all the way at that 200 simple moving average on the 4-hour time frame. But as candles actually unfolded throughout the day, we lost that 21 EMA to the downside, which was my personal invalidation point. Now I got out of my long position on the retest of the 21 EMA. Okay, and as things unfolded, that symmetrical triangle morphed into a descending triangle / M-like formation, and we saw a break to the downside. Now, in yesterday's video, I told you that we're likely going to see support on that Kijun. All right, now the Kijun was sitting here at around that 87,900 SAT region. And also, guys, we had not just historic price support, but also cloud support. So there was too much in that region for us to kind of blindly short it all the way to the measured move. So these are small little things that you need to watch out for when playing certain patterns. Okay, have a nice holistic view on what exactly is going on the chart. So right now, as things stand, I do believe that this is also bearish, of course. We're currently living under resistance at around this 91,000 SAT region. In addition to that, guys, we have a bearish crossover setup on this chart as well, the 21 over the 10 SMA, and we're likely going to see that 10 SMA and the 21 EMA being held as resistance. However, please note, as soon as price starts living over the 21 EMA, I usually look at that as either a sign of consolidation or a sign of a trend beginning to form on Link's chart. I noticed that Link does extremely well off of that 21 EMA when it does start to trend. Okay, so I will not be getting into any shorts if Chainlink is sitting above that 21 EMA on the 4-hour time frame. But now this is what's going on that 4-hour time frame. Let's quickly pan on over to the weekly, see what Chainlink is up to. But currently on that weekly time frame, what is to note is that Chainlink actually came down. I'm just going to quickly switch off my horizontals. Chainlink came down to the 21 EMA. This candle right here last week, we saw that massive dump, if some of you remember, all the way down to 71,000 sats. But we got picked up. Look at that bullish pickup. Okay, we got picked up enough to take back the 21 EMA support plus the Kijun. Okay, as things stand right now, we are getting a retest of that. However, as if price breaks that 21 EMA to the downside on the next weekly close, I will be looking for continuation to the downside. Okay, but right now, the key thing over here is that 21 EMA is support. I'll just mark that, and I'll probably get rid of a couple of other lines just to, clear out my charts. And yeah, if we just quickly pan back on over to that 4-hour time frame, you'll notice that that's exactly where price came down to test. That was our weekly 21 EMA support that we just tested. And this is also like another concept where, you see these monthly, weekly levels. Now you get this in time, of course, with experience, where you see monthly, weekly levels actually kick in even on those lower time frames. Okay, and you notice that the bulls managed to pick price back up on those regions. So these are small few things to watch out for when you are trading patterns and when you are looking for measured moves to actually play out. So this may, if the bulls manage to maintain this support region right here, this may very well morph into a falling wedge or a falling channel, which in theory are bullish patterns. So watch out for how price has to react relative to the support to figure out whether or not Chainlink sees continuation to the downside. As soon as we start losing that cohesion to the downside, there's a good chance that we see that continuation possibly coming all the way down to meet that measured move, which is also sitting at support, 4-hour support at 84,000 sats. We start closing under that, then the next one is only coming in at 78,000 sats. And yeah, this is all I have for you for Chainlink and Bitcoin with this. Trade safely, trade stress-free, trade the mango way, trade the easy way, guys. Ciao.